from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Report.
Hello and good morning. I'm forecaster John Bordash and with you in the JB Weather Center this morning to give you an update on the potential for snow we have across the region as we head through the early part of this week. I know it seemed like a while since we have really talked about measurable snow for much of the mid-Atlantic, but sure enough, as I try to get a few things together, we are indeed looking at that threat across our region over the next 72-ish hours, and it looks like the audio is just fine. So good morning. I don't intend on this being too long of a live stream, but definitely wanted to pop on here to get you a weather update before Wild Card Sunday continues on for our NFL playoffs. So we have been tracking the potential for snow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish kind of time frame for the last several days. There's been a decent bit of hype out there about this back last week that led to plenty of questions about it. And as is typically the case, I tend to withhold any in-depth analysis on snowfall forecasts or totals or any of that too far out. I didn't really start talking about this really until about a couple days ago. And yesterday we published this map. And this I do think gives you a nice overview on the setup we're looking at. Not to get too technical, but we do indeed have a area low pressure that's going to be moving across the mid-south today going into early tomorrow. This is going to be bringing light to moderate snowfall accumulations to parts of Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, areas that you wouldn't think would get snow before Southern Maryland are indeed getting snow before Southern Maryland. As that storm system, though, tracks towards the Appalachian Mountains, we're going to see this die off, and when that area low pressure dies off, it's going to transfer its energy to the coast, and a new phase 2 part of this low will develop. What had appeared to be the case earlier in the week and what received a lot of hype is that this could have potentially phased or worked with an upper piece of energy across the northern United States, and that would attract up the coast and would have been a pretty decent snowstorm for much of the mid-Atlantic. The timing, though, is going to be a little bit off between the two, so they're not going to merge their energies together. What this means is that option 2 is kind of where our models were landing yesterday, where it's really just looking like a glancing blow of light snow across much of the region. We have seen a slight trend away from that and closer towards option 1, but it's still not too significant of a snow threat across our region. But light to moderate snowfall accumulations do appear possible, and if not likely, for many spots. The cut right to the chase here is going to be that snowfall forecast, right? You can get this forecast at jbweather.net. You can also get it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of our social links. You can find it there as well. But we're talking a general 1 to 2 inches of snow with the potential for maybe 2 or 3, and for an isolated spot or 2, maybe 4 inches of snow along I-95 into the north and west. This is not like a shutdown snowstorm, and the bulk of this is going to fall Monday evening going into overnight Monday into early Tuesday morning. So that's just like the general overview of what we're going to be talking about. This is going to be off and on snow that moves in and kind of lingers throughout Monday going into parts of Tuesday. The snow should begin to shut off very early Tuesday morning, like before sunrise south of D.C. It might linger north of D.C. going into Pennsylvania into Tuesday morning towards about the lunch hour before finally clearing out up that way. And that is why you have higher snow totals north and west of I-95, and that is where we're talking the potential for maybe more than an inch or 2, possibly a couple of inches of snow. Regardless, I don't see this being a huge snow event. I don't think we're talking moderate or major snowfall accumulations. This genuinely is kind of like a minor kind of look at things. I want to take you on over to our Cedar Point Federal Credit Union Futurecast I just finished running a little bit ago to get you that latest storm timing and to provide you a general overview of impacts. We're then going to go into an impact graphic, maybe answer a couple of questions, and then get into a little bit more of a technical talk. But here's a look at Futurecast. This shows light rain across the area tonight. Much of this is not going to be reaching the ground, though. We will be plenty cold tonight, though, so anything that were to fall tonight would be snow. But again, we're going to be pretty dry, so I would expect almost no precipitation across the mid-Atlantic tonight. And as we push things forward, what you can start to see is maybe some scattered snow showers as we head towards about 8 o'clock. in the morning tomorrow. Much of that activity is confined west of our area across portions of the Shenandoah Valley. But yeah, maybe some flurries across the region tomorrow morning. Any snow tomorrow morning would probably be confined south of DC, and it's going to be very, very light. Maybe half an inch of accumulation, but like not much at all. You see, Futurecast does very little with it, even by 11 o'clock. We're talking very little snow accumulation or totals. But then as we head towards the lunch hour going into the afternoon, we start to see snow begin to build as that area of low pressure passes to our south. And it will begin to fall south of DC first, and this again is still only light snow. We're not even talking moderate snow across our region. Futurecast, has a hard time moving this northward, but eventually does as we approach the evening hours. So off and on snow. That's what we were talking about in that first call forecast, right? Off and on snow showers possible throughout the morning and afternoon hours. Nothing major. Again, maybe a coating to a half inch. The main bulk of precipitation begins to move in around sunset Monday. And you see that here. It's still kind of spotty in nature. Maybe you get like a steadier band of snow, but even still, I would still consider it light snow. And Futurecast really shows snow across the region overnight going into Tuesday morning. And as we push things towards 4 o'clock, you still see we have snow across the region. This could lead to those slick spots on area roadways. And yes, this could lead to school and business impacts across the region. Still too early to kind of conceptualize or put numbers on odds of school closures Tuesday morning, but will impacts be around for Tuesday morning? Possibly. Again, this looks like a lot more than it really is. Looking at this and you're looking at snow for a few hours, you might expect a couple of inches or several inches. That won't be the case because the snow will be so light. The thing, though, is it's going to be cold enough that anything that falls will stick, even to roadways. So, yeah, this will be a gradual buildup of an inch or two of snow that plows should be able to keep up with, but it's going to leave some slick spots behind. And we can see Futurecast keeps snow going into Tuesday morning, and eventually it starts to push on. Now, if we bring that back to where we just were, bada boom, do we want to... We'll just let this cycle on through. This shows snow getting out of here Tuesday morning by mid-morning for many spots. You can see as we play this back through, the bulk of the precipitation really does start to filter through Tuesday night. And that should be out of here as we approach 7 and 8 o'clock tomorrow on Tuesday morning. Here would be a look at general timing. Snowfall tomorrow morning and through tomorrow afternoon is going to be light. It's going to be focused to the south, and I would expect very little snow across the region, at least snow accumulation. The bulk of our precipitation falls really between sunset Monday and sunrise on Tuesday. Temperatures will be plenty cold enough to support snow. Temperatures in the 30s for many spots, 20s north of DC. Snow begins to become focused a little bit more to the north as we approach mid-morning on Tuesday, and it starts to shut off for areas in southern Maryland. Temperatures kind of hovering right around freezing, with snow definitely getting out of here as we approach Tuesday afternoon. We're not talking massive power outages. I think we're maybe talking some slick spots as we head through Monday evening going into Tuesday. But even still, again, we're not talking much in the way of accumulation. If I were to change gears here just for a quick second, let me bring you on over to William Richmond Inc. radar. Bada boom boom. And my one concern with this kind of an event is because it has been so long since we have really seen snow for much of the region, like a real, pure snow event. I have fear that people's hopes are going to be much higher than what is actually going to happen. And you all can probably quote me on this, that this will indeed be the case, where people are getting excited for snow when it is indeed just an inch or two of light, fluffy snow. They will be upset. William Richmond Inc. radar this morning does show that we have general areas of rain and snow showers to the north and west of DC. This is with that Arctic cold front, that reinforcing shot of cold air that's starting to penetrate into the mid-Atlantic. This should move through the region over the next 2 or 3 hours. And if we were to put radar into like a 1 hour loop here, you can kind of see the general motion here. It's starting to move its way to the east. I wouldn't expect widespread coverage with this. We talked about it yesterday. Maybe a quick coating of an inch of snow. Primarily areas north of DC could see that. but I mean, it's 45 degrees at Pax River right now, so we're not talking big impacts from this. What I do want to do, though, is get you on over to our Cedar Point Federal Credit Union Futurecast, and I actually want to show you the snowfall totals with this, and what it is going to attempt to do with that. So let's get some of these layers off here. And let's get you on over. Voila. Voila. All right, so this would be a look at temperatures. I want to get to snowfall accumulation. And you can see our legend up here. We can see like through, let's get this to like Monday morning at like 9. It shows maybe a general coating of inches of snow. Like this is a general coating of snow, not much at all. This maybe shows more like an inch or two back to the west, but even still, it's not looking like that much. As we get towards Monday afternoon, this still is only putting down maybe half an inch of snow. So that snow that shows up on Futurecast, let's bring it back on over to this version. That snow that shows up here on Futurecast throughout the day, Monday, again, it's not much. Like this is 3 o'clock, it shows snow, but this is what that really looks like. Maybe half an inch. Maybe getting close to an inch, maybe a little bit more back to the west, but again, that's out west. As we push this forward here, let's get towards just after sunset. You can see maybe at this point we're getting up to that inch of snow for much of the region. And as we get towards Tuesday evening, I will say this version of our model has been a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if I necessarily buy totals this high, upwards of 2 inches. That kind of tells you where we're at with this snowstorm, that I'm not buying totals as high as 2 inches, but you know. As we get towards Tuesday morning, this is 7 a.m. This is as far as our Futurecast goes out right now. This shows you generally what we're talking about. This model has maybe 2 or 3-ish inches for many spots here across the Mid-Atlantic. Now, what I will say is that for areas north of Washington, D.C., this is like the snow is just getting going on up towards Frederick and Baltimore and New York. So this isn't going to be your total snowfall accumulation. You will have more snow that falls throughout the day Tuesday. Areas south of D.C., though, this would indeed be like a storm total for you. I don't see much more than this. This is a model showing between 1 to 3 inches of snow for much of the Mid-Atlantic. This seems exciting. And sure it is, but to put this in perspective, this is not that much snow. I really want to make sure I'm hitting that point hard. We are getting new model data that comes in this afternoon, so we'll see if there's any small changes to that, but I wouldn't expect, shutdown impacts are going to be snowed in for days. This could pose some issues for the Tuesday morning commute, though. It's going to be 2 inches of snow. That could indeed accumulate on roadways. Could there be delays and closures? Sure. Specific odds on that, still too early to say. It's only Sunday. I want to see what tomorrow actually has to offer and what we actually see going into Monday evening with our impacts. Let's go ahead and bring it back on over here. I do see a quick question. Let me try to roll through here. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. See, Kimberly wants a 2-hour delay on Tuesday. As a teacher, I definitely feel that. And yeah, I mean, maybe I do need to go to the store, so maybe we'll be buying some goldfish. We'll see. And yeah, I like what Heather's saying here. So we're getting a tease. Yeah, this is like, I feel like I sound much more pessimistic than I should, but yeah, this is not like an all-out event. This is meaningful, and it definitely will be impactful for some spots. I mean, we're talking upwards of an inch or two of snow, maybe up to 2 or 3 inches north and west of D.C. And we have noticed over the last several days that, and really just over the last, like maybe the last 12 or 24 hours, that our models have started to trend upwards a little bit with the snow potential, right? A couple of days ago, this was really just looking like maybe an inch of snow for many spots, and now we've introduced the idea of maybe a couple inches of snow for some spots, which, is, it shows what kind of where our models want to head. We will see if that trend continues. I don't see much more than this, though, for many spots. I don't see this trending towards an all-out blizzard or double-digit snows or even half a foot of snow. I really do think the upper maximum with this is going to be a general 1 to 3 or 2 to 4 inches of snow. I do see a question, is Loudoun County going to get more than DC? The details to that level, like, will Sterling, Virginia see more than Washington, D.C.? That gets really minute, especially this far out. We're just getting a general picture at this point. I would expect a general 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches for both locations. I see people already getting excited about next week, or Friday's snow potential. And I will let you all be your own worst enemy with that one. You all know the drill here. We can barely forecast 3 to 4 days in advance, let alone a whole week in advance. Yeah, we've seen this happen several times this season already, where like a week out, model show and all out blizzard just were to try and do this. So just keep that in mind. Do you feel like we get less snow because of the pit? And I get this question a lot, Kevin. Yeah, I mean, our area waterways, of course, they run warmer. They do affect our ability to accumulate snow. But yeah, I mean, that's a general overlook. Again, this is not looking to be like crazy amounts here of snow or impacts. Definitely some meaningful impacts. And again, I don't want to undercut it. We will see some decent snow from this. And by decent, I mean a few inches, a couple of inches at most. I do want to show you, let me take you on over, and what I want to do actually, I want to take you into some of our model data we have coming in. This would be our latest run of our North American model. Let me get things. Let's bring you on over, there we go. All right, let's kind of zoom us on in. For those that are unaware where they sit on a map, voila. Southern Maryland sits generally right here. Central PA, for my followers up there, sit right about there. So that's just a general look at where locations are. But here would be a look at how the North American model kind of handles things. Areas in blue represent snow, and you can see that down here to the south along areas like Arkansas and the Mid-South. These purple and pink areas, that represents a wintry mix towards portions of Texas. But we can see that it starts to throw some of that initial band of snow as we get towards Monday morning. And again, this general flow to start the event will be from southwest to northeast. So just keep that in mind. And as we start to see some of this start to pour on in, we can see that it starts to evaporate a little bit as it moves into our region. That snow starts to buckle down and doesn't really stick with us. It isn't until we hit Monday evening, there we go, where we start to get a new area of low pressure develop that's going to track out this way, where we get snow that starts to develop along that northern edge of the precip shield. Moving this forward, we can see, again, it's like generally light snow, and then when that low pressure really starts to get going, this is getting here into early morning Tuesday. It really focuses that snow north and west of our region, really through the DC metro area. It points north and west. That's why I have that zone in like a 2 to 4 inch area. Maybe we see a quick little mixture of rain, maybe a little bit of sleet Tuesday morning as the snow starts to focus itself. Again, north and west of our region, there's our area of low pressure, right? We're lacking a lot of moisture with this system, hence why there is so much dry air, and like we get a little disconnection between where the moisture is and where the area of low pressure is. But this very quickly moves out. This model, and we're at a point here where I would feel this is probably a little bit better of a version. This model in terms of snow totals, let's get you on over, voila. We can see, again, a general inch or so, and as you push forward, you can see where it paints a lot of those higher totals. Again, if we do one of my infamous freehand maps here, you have the outline of Maryland, generally right there. So that gets you a look at the state of Maryland kind of by and large. And you can see where we're looking at some of our higher totals. You can see where that like 2 to 4 inch band is north and west of DC. We're still looking at snow south of there. And this should still be mostly snow, but even this model, it is just a quick inch or two. Let me zoom this on out. Let me show you a couple more of our different models and what they are showing. Let's do the low resolution version of this model, and we can see it shows still generally the same thing, 1 to 2. We look at our European model. Again, even this, this is one of our better models. You see me, what, 1.5 inches in Leonardtown, maybe 2 inches on up towards DC. Impactful, sure. Shutdown, not so much. Our American model, the GFS, this model is a little bit more juicy in our region. You see it definitely starts to show some of those higher totals, maybe focused south of DC. And that's going to come down to that initial band that moves through Monday evening before the Tuesday overnight main event. Is that able to overperform and put down some snow? If so, sure, this could be right. I tend to think it won't be, though. If we take a look at a couple more, actually what I want to show you, if we get here into our meteograms, voila, this is like some of the stuff that helps me to formulate a forecast. If we take a look at some of our different, this is not what I want. Don't want multi-run, that's what I want. So this is a look at the European model. There are 20 different versions of this model, and kind of what each one of those small, like those members, put down. This would be our look for snow totals coming up. And what you can see is very many of them, and it might be hard to see those numbers. The blues represent a strand of maybe 2 inches, grays about 1 inch. This also kind of confirms that thought of a general 1 to 2 for many spots. As we push things through. I'll show you that future casting and to kind of pinpoint and kind of show you how we're talking about this, right? This spot here, let's move this forward a little bit. Right through here, if this little band Monday afternoon can kind of overperform, that could lead to some more snow. But again, the primary event is really going to be overnight Monday going into Tuesday morning, where that snow becomes much more widespread. And that is what's going to allow us to see up to this amount of snow. But yeah, that's a general look at how things currently stand. I'm going to have updates throughout the day, and definitely going into tomorrow. It's a federal holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which means I am off from school, which means I have more time to devote to this sort of stuff, which I love. But do stay weather aware. Again, my updated forecast is posted on jbweather.net, where I kind of get technical with things a little bit and get into timing and impacts and some storm FAQs. But in the meantime, I'm forecaster John Bordash. If we need to do another one of these this evening, we will. And expect additional updates throughout the day on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course on the website jbweather.net. In the meantime, I'm forecaster John Bordash. Thank you so much for joining me right now. Have a nice and safe one, and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.